Welcome back to your Valley Sports Plug. This is the Heat Check Podcast Live. I am your host, Chris Patrick, and it is a beautiful Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. We are back and better than ever. This is our first live stream since the baseball season kicked off last week. Man, I'm ready to get all into it. But first, I want to introduce you to my co-host. It may be April, but these are no fools. We have the one, the only, Mr. Michael Benjamin and VSP Tallman joining us this evening. What's going on, fellas?
Gentlemen, what a day. April Fool's Day. I'm in a new compound. I'm sure you'll start to see these things changing around me, but I did want to announce to the world that I have changed fandoms. I am no longer an Arizona Cardinals fan. I am a Los Angeles Rams fan, baby. Back in blue. Hell no, man. Come on. You know it's April Fool's Day. It's always been, I can't even put it the right way. It's always been a cardiac attack for me. Tallman, how you doing, brother?
Oh, fellas, doing good. I'm not going to be with you guys for an entire month after tonight.
Really?
April Fool's. Actually, no, that's not a joke. So, this is my last stream until May 6th. Can you believe it? So next week I'm unavailable, and then I'm going to be in a different country for a couple weeks. So you guys are going to miss me.
We're already shut here.
You also aren't invited on the stream next week because we're doing trivia. VSP Trivia is back. We took the month of March off, but we're getting the long-awaited rematch of the Cousins Bellick and what was the Miller Brothers team name?
Throbby for Bobby.
Throbby for Bobby. That's right. They came in, they upset the reigning champs, and now they are the reigning champs, 1-0. So I still got to get all the questions together for that one, but I know time's ticking. We'll make it happen. But
yeah.
Tallman, we're gonna miss you, man. I hope you have fun traversing Europe. Hope you don't get stabbed or anything like that. And we look forward to your return in May. We've also I don't think we've locked it in yet necessarily, but just to tease it, we are, I think next month, right, doing a 999 challenge stream where you're Heat Check podcast host here. You're the core of Valley Sports Plug is going to attempt the 999 challenge at home. 999 challenge at home. Whoever doesn't know, that's 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, and 9 innings of baseball. We're going to do a watch party of sorts where we watch a Diamondbacks game with y'all and attempt the 999 challenge and invite you all to do it at home. But guys, just a quick get the plugs out of the way. Of course, we thank you if you're watching here live on this live stream here on YouTube. Valley Sports Plug is the YouTube page. You can find us at AZ_VSP on Instagram, X, TikTok, and so much more. So make sure you seek us out across all social media platforms, like and subscribe so you can stay up to date. And on YouTube, ring that notification bell so you can see when we go live. But if you do happen to miss it, we do get these up and posted immediately after our stream is done for your viewing pleasure. Also, next day on all audio streaming platforms where you listen to podcasts. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere else that podcasts are, you can find us. But gentlemen, I also lastly have to say, we just finished up a Phoenix Suns ticket giveaway. We do this at least once a year. It was a huge success. Might have gained some new followers, some new subscribers. So welcome if you're here. If you don't know about Valley Sports Plug or you're tuning in for the first time, we do a live stream every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. and it varies. We have the Heat Check podcast live, Past the Outlet, VSP roundtables, and like I mentioned, the trivia streams we're doing next week, as well as various specialty streams throughout the year. Like we just did our MLB preview last week. We do a NBA preview, NFL preview, different special events for your viewing pleasure. And yeah, I think that ticket giveaway went really well. Looks like the winner had a good time at the game. And, with your support, we'll be able to do more things like that. So tell a friend, tell an enemy. And we're here to just talk about sports and break it all down for you. But fellas, we had the breaking news come down the pipe this afternoon. The Arizona Cardinals have signed veteran defensive lineman Calais Campbell, former Arizona Cardinal, now returning for his 18th NFL season at a very reasonable $7.5 million. And he is 38 years old. In September, he will be 39 years old. So I want to open it up to you guys to speak on this and your initial reaction to the, I guess you could call it somewhat of a re-signing of Calais Campbell, having him rejoin the team. My perspective is just this is more of a locker room play. You bring a veteran leader in, and you don't expect a whole lot of production out of him, but you'll take what you can get. That's just my high level opinion. But what do you think, Mike?
Oh man, yeah, I will speak very quickly on this. Love me some Calais Campbell. Obviously, hometown guy, played 9 years with the Arizona Cardinals. He did go to the U. So, but when you spend that much time in your career in one place, it becomes home, and it's awesome to see. Calais, 38 years old, 110 sacks in his 17 seasons in the NFL. I'm just so excited to kind of have this be the bookend of his illustrious career. I think there's, at the end of the day, we're going to have conversations if he's a guy that makes it into Canton, because he has been an absolute stellar guy everywhere he goes. I mean, you think about the first team that he went to after he left the Arizona Cardinals, which was the Jacksonville Jaguars. What did he do? He propelled them to an AFC championship game and had the best season of his career with 14.5 sacks. I am so excited to bring back Calais Campbell. I was wondering when the first time, is there another name that kind of is similar to my excitement? I think one that goes along, who was another guy that was in tandem with Calais, was when Carlos Dansby came back. And then something similar, but it's obviously not the same, is when Terrell Suggs came to the Arizona Cardinals and finished his career. Even though he wasn't that great here, but he was a true hometown kid going to Hamilton and ASU. So it's always awesome to see those kind of guys come back into the fold. And it's going to change things, I think, for what we're looking at in the first round of the draft. I don't know what you think about that, Tallman, but how you feel about Calais coming home?
Oh man, Grandpa's home. It's not even Daddy's home. Oh my god, it's Grandpa, dude. What this 38 is incredible. Obviously, he's putting up a hell of a fight against Father Time, and he was productive, man. He's not going to play every single snap. He's going to be in there just to kind of get some fresh legs in there. But I'm really excited with the signing. I'm also concerned you brought up Terrell Suggs. Let's really hope it's not another robbery scheme that Terrell Suggs did to the Cardinals coming in. Was not very productive for the team. But just what Calais is to the Valley, there's not a single Arizona Cardinals fan that's upset about this signing right now. And Chris, you mentioned the price. The price is reasonable, and my biggest thought when they did this was exactly what Mike just said. Okay, you really loaded up on that defensive line. So obviously, what we're not taking with that first pick in the draft. So the speculation can be a little more narrow on where they go with it. But man, we've built up some experience depth on that defensive line, and it's good to have them back.
Well, and I don't want to derail or deviate too much from talking about the return of Calais Campbell, but you do bring up a good point there, where that is the conventional wisdom, right? Is like all the defensive linemen and linebackers they signed in free agency. You'd think that they might stray away from that, but there's a lot of pundits saying that the Cardinals are still going to target positions, on that defensive line and the linebacker core. Do you think that's a good idea, guys, to kind of load up in that area and take young guys that might not even produce this season? Or would it be more, a better idea to take the best available player at another position of need? I know that's kind of counterproductive to say best available at a position of need, but at this point, I'm pretty comfortable with, between all the free agent signings and all the guys we had over the last couple years, the guys we already had on the roster, that we don't need to go out and draft another edge rusher or anything like that.
I think that's such a great question, Chris. The one thing that gives me pause is what's happened the past 2 seasons and been the absolute fall flat part of this football team. It's being able to rush the passer and get sacks and create those really havoc times that quarterbacks make mistakes. There's a reason that we didn't get that many turnovers last year as well. And our leading sack guy was Zaven Collins with 5 sacks. There's still a lot of unknown commodities when it comes to this defensive line. especially within the younger guys. You talk about BJ Ojulari, who's coming back from, another serious knee injury. We know what Josh Sweat did, but this is his first time in a new system. Granted, he does have the familiarity with Jonathan Gannon, so you think that should be a seamless fit. But yeah, I think, for bringing in somebody like Calais Campbell, if you can go out and get, another defensive end or defensive tackle early within the rounds, I don't think it has to be the first round pick at this point, Chris, but maybe if you go get a second rounder, he can really start to find his footing earlier in the NFL, having an incredible veteran like Calais Campbell to learn from. But yeah, I think, this bookends, kind of going back to what you're saying, for me, is that's where I can see the first round pick being a transition where maybe you go offensive tackle or cornerback, you adjust a little bit, but I think they're still going to have to put some stock into the defensive line at the end of the day, because it's been the worst part of this football team the past 2 years. But I don't know. How do you feel about that, Tallman?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at the defensive line now, all of it's said and done. You've devoted a lot of money to that front seven. You paid Josh Sweat, you re-signed Barry Browning, you got Dalvin Tomlinson, even the draft capital. I mean, one of your first round picks last season, you draft Darius Robinson, who you got really nothing out of. So I know in that locker room, they're banking on him to really be a core group of that front seven. So adding Calais, I'm not going to be surprised if the Cardinals do something that surprises us in the draft in the first round, because it's happened so many times. But I think if it's not going to be D-line, it's probably going to be an offensive guard. That's one of their big weaknesses. I can sit here and talk all night long how I wish it would be one of those wide receivers that in all these mock drafts are available at that draft position. But it's easy as a fan to sit there and say, oh, we want the guys that are going to bounce off the page, the playmakers, the offensive guys. No one wants to see a guard get drafted or even a defensive lineman, because it's not an exciting pick for fans. But I mean, a lot of the drafts or the mock drafts, I have seen what Chris has been saying, they have an edge guy, defensive line, and then some I've even seen offensive guard. It wouldn't surprise me if you see Monty Williams jump back a little bit and pick up a little bit more draft capital. But, I guess what's great about this free agency is there's not really – if I'm going to sit here and say my glaring needs is guard and wide receiver, I mean, there's not a requirement for this team to draft for position needs where they should be in a position to draft best possible available player. But it's really tough when you're in the middle of the first round, because it's so easy to sit there and go, oh, 1 through 6, 1 through 8, we know who those transitional guys or transcendental guys are going to be. But then once you're in the middle of the first round, it's like, okay, are you afraid to reach on somebody? Is there a clear-cut best available? But I think this free agency gave them some flexibility, and adding Calais definitely helps with the depth.
I agree. It definitely helps with the depth. I'll go back to what I said at the top is like, I think this is more of a locker room move. And I guess that's kind of what I want to ask you about, Mike, is do you think that or I guess if you were going to give a percentage, how much do you think Calais Campbell is going to see the field? Because, I mean, you got Bilal Nichols, Dante Stills, you just signed Dalvin Tomlinson. At defensive end, you have Darius Robinson, all these guys that you have that are younger and more eager, dare I say, chomping at the bit to get that playing time. Do you think this is more of a move for veteran leadership? And to that question, what percentage do you think he's going to be on the field, like snaps wise?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely part of bolstering up this locker room and having another voice in there to pair along with Kyler Murray, who is starting to kind of set himself as the leader, not only of this franchise, but of the guys who are supposed to take this team to the promised land. In regard to playing time, Chris, yeah, I mean, he's not going to be in specific packages. You're probably looking at, I don't know, 40 to 45% of snaps. Maybe you might see Calais Campbell on the field. But then again, a lot of it comes down to how he comes into camp. Like, is he ready? Is he in football shape? We know how when you get up there, it takes a little bit longer. It takes more days to, get your bones back to where they need to be to take that kind of punishment. But man, if you just think about Calais himself last year when he played the Arizona Cardinals in Miami, he was probably the best defensive player on the field. And to do that at that time, 37, 38 years old, still making impacts, still running with his hair on fire. You know, if those guys continue to make plays, it makes it always hard to keep them off the field. So we'll see. They're going to give him opportunities, but obviously you bring in Josh Sweat. They're not going to ask him to be the true savior. They're asking him to lead the next generation and step in when he can. I think that's exactly what this defensive line needs.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Tallman, you always talk about with really any sport, one of the best qualities in a guy is a guy who's available. Availability being the best quality. The last 2 seasons, Calais Campbell played all 17 games. And it's crazy. I'm looking at his stat history here that Mike had pulled up a moment ago. Can you believe that it's been damn near a decade since he wore the Arizona Cardinal red? It's like, wow. I don't know. You know, they say time flies and maybe we are getting old, but holy shit, 2016 was the last time we saw Calais Campbell don a Cardinals uniform. But does that give you a little more, I guess, comfort in signing a guy that's going to be 39 very early in the season? The fact that he did play the complete 17 games and started 17 games, in his 37th and 38th year on this planet.
On this planet. Oh, absolutely, man. I honestly didn't know that he started every single game, or at least played in every single game the last 2 years. That's incredible, honestly, because you know what we say about people when they're past 30 years old. This dude is well
past
behind.
Their prime. He's almost over the hill. Right?
Oh, he is, dude, man. He's old enough to be our dads. Just kidding. Sorry, Calais. No, that's huge. I mean, availability, especially in the game of football, it's such a violent sport. I mean, we can sit here and be mad at Bradley Beal all day long for not being available, but to be as old, and I feel bad calling him old, as experienced as Calais Campbell, and how well trained his body must be to be able to go through all that. That's just incredible, man. And he is such a likable guy. And that just kind of blew my mind that you said it's been almost a decade since the last time he's played in that Cardinals red. I mean, shit, I'm trying to remember when I saw him at my work. And I haven't worked there in almost 6.5 years. I saw him at my work like 7 years ago. And man, he's probably one of the nicest professional athletes I think you'll ever meet.
Yeah, real class act. I'm excited. I'm happy to have Calais back. And I will not stress enough, like, this is a good move by Monty Ossenfort. Whatever say Jonathan Gannon has in it, to the way they're constructing this roster is smart, because you bring in a guy like Calais Campbell, it's a win-win, because even if he isn't very productive on the field, he brings that veteran leadership. And I put a lot of stock in that personally. I think there is a lot of value in having a strong leader in the locker room, especially when you're bringing in a lot of young guys. A lot of the guys on this roster we have drafted in the last 2-3 seasons. So that goes a long way. But man, this is the month of the draft. We'll have to see what the Cardinals do. I'm pretty sure we got a NFL draft stream scheduled, Mike, for later in the month. Is that right? Mike's like our timekeeper, our scribe here at Valley Sports Plug. Tallman, are you going to be out of town when the NFL draft happens?
Yeah, dude, I'm bummed I'm not going to be at that stream, but what is it? It's 24th. Yeah, I'm
looking it up now. Yeah, Thursday the 24th is when it starts. So that's 3 weeks from this Thursday. I'm
going to be in Paris, France.
Oh,
for the whole
oui.
Yeah. Eat some fucking snaps.
Je m'appelle. Hey, I'm sure they'll have, some American bars for your all those people to see their NFL draft. You'll be just fine.
I hope so, man. If they don't start hating us even more.
Hey, what we'll do, I think we've done it before on our NFL draft stream on Tuesday, April 22nd. We'll have Tallman come in from the Eiffel Tower. And
I like it.
On the 22nd, I will be in Amsterdam.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
So from the brothel, the
From-
red light.
from the red
district.
light
Yeah, yeah, from the red light district, man. Well, shit, it'll probably be like 6 o'clock in the morning, man.
Well, I guess set your alarm. That we would love to have you from halfway around the world. But I mean, the NFL presence in Europe is building up. Obviously, there's talks in the NFL and the NBA about getting European teams going, but a league that doesn't have talks of bringing in any European teams is the MLB. And man, opening day was last Thursday. Your Arizona Diamondbacks are back in action. They just had a nice big win this evening over the New York Yankees to start their series. They are now 3-2 on the season. They had a 4-game series with the Cubs to start the season, and they split that series 2-2. Looked a little shaky at times, but guys, just want to kind of talk about where the Diamondbacks are at so far. Eugenio Suarez is on pace to have 160 home runs or something like that, something crazy. He had a grand slam in the game today. But I also do want to talk about our concerns with the defense. We've seen a few blunders. Jake McCarthy had a tough break. Josh Naylor is not Christian Walker. We've learned that pretty quick. And I don't know, some things with the pitching staff that I hate that we keep falling into this trap, guys. At the beginning of every season, we're like, man, on paper, our pitching is so good. And then they roll out there and they kind of don't look as good as we expected them to. And I'm looking at you, Josh Gallon. I'm looking at you, Zach Gallen, and I'm looking at you, Eduardo Rodriguez. And the old man, Merrill Kelly, actually had a pretty good outing with a sub 2.0 ERA. But fellas, just want to kind of open the floor for high-level thoughts. I don't know who wants to start first. I guess I'll pass it to Michael Benjamin.
Tallman, you got to start us off.
Okay,
Man.
all right.
The baseball man, Mr. Baseball
No,
man.
I don't know.
VSP Tallman.
I don't know about that. So, obviously pitching was a big one here, but I want to start with the errors, man, the fielding and the base running. What are the two things you think about when you think about Diamondbacks baseball that we've grown to be accustomed to over the past couple of years? You think about solid defensive play, and you think about aggressive, smart base running. And man, the defensively, man, it's just been it's been rough. I know there's a little bit of growing pains with Josh Naylor at first. I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, some of those balls that are thrown a little short in the dirt that Christian Walker would just scoop up every single one of them. We saw a couple times where Josh is just not that same type of player. He's not that Gold Glove player, but we knew that coming in, right? And there was a lot of stuff coming in about Josh really working on his game over there at first base. So you're hoping that's something that he can just grow into as we mature through the season. But even then, some of the errant throws. I mean, somebody who is just absolutely solid at third base is Gino. I mean, the guy plays every single day. He refuses to sit on the bench. And every single time the dude has a cannon across, you saw him sail Josh Naylor in a couple. And then some of the communication with, I forgot who the pitcher was the first time, not what we saw tonight with the awful underhand toss from Josh Naylor to the pitcher Burns covering on first, which totally I thought was going to be the deciding factor of the game tonight. But you had another instance of that with Josh Naylor totally throwing it behind the pitcher covering first. So these are small, uncharacteristic errors. Oh, and then you mentioned the Jake McCarthy, man. I mean, to have a ball hit the bottom of your mitt and then it just flies right out, that was a play he should have made and normally does make. So that's just, like I said, it's uncharacteristic of this team. And there's been a couple times where it's really hurt them. I mean, thankfully we got a little bit of the answer backs yesterday or on Sunday against the Cubs, that final game in that series, and then also tonight against the Yankees in New York. But then you talk about some of the base running. What was it? It was the game Saturday night. Did you guys see that with Garrett Hampson? I mean, talk about a heads up veteran play by Dansby Swanson. I mean, to just be that aware as a defensive player, hats off to him for knowing that he didn't have the play at first and just faking it to see if he could get Garrett Hampson to bounce off third. And he totally fooled him. And it's just something like that normally we are, granted, I'll give Garrett a little bit of a pass. He's new to the group, but as a veteran guy, someone who has experience, who's on this team because of his speed, because of his base running, that was a complete mental error that that changed the course of that game. And basically obviously that play happened and the game ended. So it was a coulda, woulda, shoulda, who knows how that ends before. So, I mean, come on, that's a mental error if you've ever seen one on the base pass. So these are just uncharacteristic things that we've seen from this team defensively. And then that one right there, that base running blunder was just decided the game for us on Saturday.
Well, let me go high level here too, right? Yeah, it's been a little concerning to start with all the errors, right? We showed it on the screen, second in the MLB with 6 total errors through 5 games at this point. Josh Naylor's flip today to Corbin Burns was just absolutely atrocious. I'm just thankful that Corbin, when he came down on the bag, didn't really, really mess up his ankle, because it looked like he jumped as high as he could, which wasn't that high. But, those are situations that you just cannot put, your $200 million men in. Yeah, I guess since it's so fresh as well today, I think Corbin Burns did solid. Obviously, that downfall was the 4th inning, and those 2 runs given up on the error aren't his fault. But it seemed like he was struggling with command. There was a lot of times Gabby setting up inside and balls were just sailing to the outside. It was the same on that Anthony Volpe home run where the ball just ended up juiced right down the middle. And then that Austin Wells 13 pitch at bat, which ended up in a walk. I mean, those are the things. Remember, guys, when we sat down for our last Heat Check podcast in person and we talked about, well, what's going to be so beneficial for this team is having these big time aces who can go 6 innings, 6 2/3, maybe sometimes stretch to 7. So you're saving some of these bullpen arms. But we also see how Torrey is just so quick triggered in his time frames. And obviously it's early in the season, but it was as soon as 100 pitches were up, even after that great strikeout from Corbin Burns, there he goes. And he doesn't even make it through 5 innings. So you have to stretch into your bullpen once again. We saw it on opening day with Zach Gallen. We saw it a couple times already. My other thing, since we're kind of talking in a negative light right now, so bear with me. The early season decisions with Torrey is just wild, man. How is Corbin Carroll getting an off day when you have an off day the next day and you still had to use him anyways in pinch hit situations and play the field because you're going to lose that series 3-1? I understand protecting your investments, but it's the fucking start of the season. Get these guys going and let's put our foot on the pedal and go. But it seems like they're starting to do it today. I just, the rally back kind of thing. I hate waiting until the 8th inning, right? This team is too good not to get things done early and not necessarily coast, but play within your game plan and not feel like you're always chasing the cat, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? But it's been a good start. What a great win tonight. Gino for MVP. But there's always still some head-scratching things with this team, it seems like, and that's just because we love them so much and we just pick them apart, and it ain't going to change.
Oh, you're right, Mike. I mean, we call the Arizona Cardinals the cardiac Cardinals because they make your heart beat at a rapid rate. I think we got to come up with something for the Diamondbacks too, man, because it seems like things look pretty bleak, and then the offense seems to get us out of some jams that our starting pitching gets us in. I mean, looking at it, our only starting pitcher that pitched 6 full innings was Brandon Pfaadt. Merrill Kelly had 5 1/3. Eduardo Rodriguez had 5 1/3. We saw Zach Gallen only go 4, and then today Corbin Burns went 4 1/3. And not great ERAs either. I'm seeing Pfaadt with a 4.5, Rodriguez with a 5, Corbin Burns 4.15, Zach Gallen a 9 ERA. It's not looking good for our starting pitching. And Merrill Kelly is the only one with a win, and he had a 1.69 ERA. And I was texting Tallman during this game, I think, or I was thinking about texting Tallman, because Merrill Kelly's command did not look great. He had a lot of pitches, and I think that's why he only went 4 1/3, because he threw a lot of bad pitches, got a lot of guys on base. Was that four four walks to lead all, or I guess tied with Zach Gallen. It's things like this that I know there's a lot of people out there, whether online or otherwise, that are going to say it's early in the season. Take it easy on the Diamondbacks, guys. We're only now 5 games into the regular season of a 162 game season. But I will continue to remind everybody that we only missed the playoffs by 1 game last year. So I know it's easy to say that it's only March, it's only April. It's all about how they do over the summer and down the stretch. But no, it does matter how they do now. And to your point, Mike, about Corbin Carroll and guys getting days off this early, Gabriel Moreno so early in the season, I think part of Torey Lovullo's justification, if I recall, was that he doesn't want to get these guys going 0 to 60, 0 to 100 super fast and have them get injured. He wants to ease them into it. I'm sorry, isn't that what we have spring training for? Isn't that what they just had an entire month to do, was ease their way back into playing baseball on a daily basis? So I don't like to see that. And then also, it has to be mentioned that when you overmanage a game and you're having this revolving door of players, you're making a lot of subs. Granted, trying to get back into a game to where you're having a pitcher go up there to bat, it's a high risk, high reward situation. We had a very similar situation last year where Scott McGuff had to come up to the plate because we ran out of batters, and that didn't go as favorably. So, it looks good when it works out and Ryan Nelson can get a base hit, a 2 RBI base hit, but then it looks very bad when a year ago Scott McGuff strikes out and we lose the game. So Torey's lucky that it went in his favor and he's not going to catch as much flack as he would have otherwise. We did end up winning that game and splitting the series, but we're very close to having this team having started 1-3 on the season. And I would have been very concerned had that happened because, guys, we were just on this stream a week ago talking about power rankings, having the Diamondbacks ranked as high as 3rd in the entire MLB. But Tallman, aside from, maybe Torey Lovullo and some of the fielding, do you have concerns about this starting pitching rotation and the lackluster performances we've seen?
Honestly, I don't. Not just yet. We saw today Corbin Burnes. I'm not worried about Burnes. I mean, his first 2 innings, he was everything that everyone ever wrote about. The guy was incredible. He got beat up a little bit, lost, was a little flustered, right? But he still struck out 8, right? I mean, the dude, there's a reason why he's getting paid $200 million. I'm not worried about that guy. Merrill Kelly, man, I'm concerned about him just because, I mean, going into that game, Lovullo's like, he's probably only going to get 85 pitches. Guess what? Kelly hits 85 pitches, he's pulled from the game. So, I mean, he's not going to be a dude that gets you 6-7 innings unless he continues to do what he does, is he pitches for contact, right? But he doesn't strike anybody out. But, and then it just so happens that was our best game. A little concerned about Gallen, but if anyone can bounce back, I think it can be Gallen, right? So I think I don't have the alarm bells going off just yet. I think we saw it wasn't a super impressive outing by Eduardo, but he put up a serviceable outing, right? And left us in a position when he went out that we were right in the reach to win that game. It's, man, you listed off all the ERAs, so it's like,
yeah. But
I mean,
also I want to go back to Kelly a little bit because you mentioned the pitch count there, 85. He hit exactly 85. He got pulled, pitched 5 1/3. I brought up the concerns myself about his command and walking a lot of guys. Are you comfortable with him kind of maybe not having as good of command as long as he keeps the ERA low, but only pitches 5 innings and then relying on the bullpen for the remaining 4? Are you comfortable with that from Merrill Kelly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's been what Merrill Kelly's done for this team the last 2 years. I mean, what's his nickname? The mainstay, whatever. He's not going to come out there and strike out 10 people. We know that. He's a contact pitcher, and he's going to give you 5 solid innings unless he cramps up. But I mean, I'm comfortable with it. I mean, you look at that. That was probably that was the cleanest game we probably had all season, right? And that was, I mean, I expected Merrill Kelly to be our weakest link, right? I thought Gallen and Burns were going to jump out the gate, and Fott was going to wow us as, you know, the young dude. But I mean, I think there's more concern on that tail end. And it's kind of weird how this whole Corbin Burns starting the 5th game of the season kind of worked out, because I think if Fott started that game today and Burns didn't strike out the first 6 people or strike out, or what was it? Goldschmidt, Bellinger, Judge, and what's the other guy? Chisholm. None of them got a hit today against this team, and they all accounted for 9 total strikeouts, and a lot of that came against Corbin Burns. So it was weird how that kind of worked out, even though it was a big negative coming into the season. But I think if Fott started that game today, I don't think we would have won it, or we would have been in a lot harder position to win that game. But I still think it's a little too early. I mean, obviously, why do we have spring training if the team's not ready to play on opening day? It doesn't make any sense. And who do you blame? You got to blame the coaching staff for these players not being ready to play the game. And I just to piggyback on what Mike was saying, I mean, the Torey Lovullo's choices so far, man. I mean, I'm just concerned about it. I'll only say one thing about it. Look at all the other all the other good baseball teams, the Dodgers, the Yankees. What's something that they do all the time? Their best players play every single game. Look at the Braves. I mean, you have Austin Riley, Matt Olson. When Acuna was healthy, they played every single game. They rarely missed any games. When are we going to get to that point where we're not relying on one game to get in the playoffs? And then even last season, in the last week of the season, Ketel Marte gets a day off when he was on an absolute tear, and we lose that game that he sat out of. So when are we going to get to that point where we put out our A lineup every single night because we want to win every single game, every single night? And I get it. We got burned by it last season because we lost Perdomo to the meniscus for 2 months. Alec Thomas was out for 3 months. A couple people had some of that soft tissue injuries, and, you know, we were ravaged by injuries the entire season. But I mean, these guys have been getting ready for the last 2 months to go 100% right now when the games actually matter. So this whole mandatory rest, man, and you have guys fighting with Lovullo saying, can I play? Can I play? Can I play? No, I'm not going to win this. Okay, I guess I'm just going to sit on the bench. And it gets frustrating. And you can't get bailed out every single time. That happened on Sunday where you said, oh, there was a day off, but they played anyway, so it wasn't technically a day off. Well, you got bailed out. Normally that doesn't happen. That was very lucky for this team on Sunday to come out of that last game of the series with a win. So it's concerning.
Yeah, I mean, you touched it perfectly, Tallman. Like, Torey's living in the past. He's so scared of what happened last year. He's going against just, like, I don't even know how to describe how inconsequential it should be to play your mainstay guys for the first series of the fucking year. Like, it shouldn't even be conversation. Now, you know, Torey came on Arizona Sports and talked with the guys before game 4. And yeah, Tallman, Corbin Carroll's knocking down his door saying, can I play? Like, yeah, I'd really like to play. Can I play? It's game 4. Like, him living so scared on the edge, sometimes he just gets in his own way from the easiest of decisions and makes it, what do they call? Makes a mountain out of a molehill, whatever the hell you want to call it. It should be easy, man, especially to start a season. Now, once you start getting 50, 60 games into the season, and you might see guys a little bit worse for wear or tapering off, slowing down, give them that extra rest. But to come out of the gate and tell me that that your 2 like youngest guys on the team need off days when you're about to have a full off day, you can't spin it towards a fan base or towards people who are really tapped into baseball at all and say that's the right decision. Because then once again, at the end of the day, they had to come in and save your ass. So let's go for it. I'm 100% aligned with Tallman. Get your guys out there every single day. You see how explosive this offense can be. Corbin had a 2-run shot today. Gabby's hitting 500. Like, you can't have those guys who are pushing things forward for you sitting. You want to sit Lourdes Gurriel and play Jake McCarthy in game 4? At that point, I think a lot more of us would have been okay with that decision because Lourdes was absolutely struggling to start through those first 3 games. But then once again, hindsight's 2020. He hits that 2-run shot to tie the game. But hey, maybe that's the reason that he gets paid the big bucks and I don't. But it's still a head scratcher. Like, you're not going to win this argument with us fans here, Tori.
That's a great point. Like, the position battles kind of make sense where, like, we do have an overabundance of quality guys in the outfield. As far as like in the middle territory where Alec Thomas, Jake McCarthy, you're going to have Drew Jones coming up. You're going to have some tough decisions to make, but Corbin Carroll is the no-brainer where how is Torey Lovullo going to come in and it's over managing at the end of the day. There's no other way to put it. And Mike, you're right. It's the beginning of the season and it's not like these guys are 34, 35-year-old veterans that need to be have their load management, as it's called in the NBA. But in the MLB, like Corbin Carroll is 24 years old. Gabriel Moreno is 25 years old. These guys are able to play every single day, and they don't have that level of wear and tear on them yet, especially when you're a team that's considered to be in a contending window and have championship aspirations. And I will continue to double and triple down. Like, this is a season where every game counts. In a division with the Dodgers, the Padres are playing very well. They haven't lost a game yet. Fuck it. Even the Giants are playing well. I think they're 4-1 on their season. So you have 4 really good teams in this NL West division to where you're going to have to claw and scratch to get a wild card spot in the National League. To me, I mean, let's be honest, guys, the Dodgers are going to win the NL West. It's almost a foregone conclusion at this point. We've talked about it. That's not going to change regardless of how poor Roki Sasaki starts his career and has a few losses and cries on the bench and sheds some tears. But I mean, maybe this will be a good place where we can kind of start transitioning into another topic and talk about the Phoenix Suns. But I've been thinking, guys, like the Dodgers need a Bradley Beal. They need a guy that they spent too much money on that gives them very little in return. And if that has to be Roki Sasaki, if that has to be their sacrificial lamb, so be it. You paid him, I think $220 million or something. I hope he sucks. I wish him all the best in life, but I hope he sucks at baseball, and I hope he sucks for the Dodgers, and he keeps crying every time he gets blasted out there. But the last thing I'll say about this D-backs team is Lovullo needs to calm down. He doesn't need to overmanage these guys and overthink it to the point where you're having pitchers come in and relying on them to win the day. It's just a tough look. And the starting pitching needs to step up and do better as well. I mean, we talk about it's funny that Tallman says he's most concerned about Merrill Kelly when so far he's the guy that's had the best outing out of all the starting pitchers. And last year, Eduardo Rodriguez got to kind of fly a bit under the radar with how poor Jordan Montgomery was pitching. Zach Gallen wasn't quite living up to expectations. So, and it was kind of a revolving door at the bottom of the rotation. So a lot of Eduardo Rodriguez's poor performances got covered up by those guys in those situations. But now it all is going to be exposed, and we're going to be putting this team under the microscope. So all around, the pitching staff needs to step up. Torey needs to calm down, and I think this ship will right itself. But before we move on, Mike, go for it. I want you guys to share your final thoughts on the D-backs.
I was going to say, man, if Zach doesn't come out tomorrow and have a pretty nice outing where he puts this team in a position to win when he hands off the ball to the bullpen, we're going to have to start having the conversations about if this guy is a high leverage pitcher, if he can play and get it done when the lights are bright. I know today was the game that was on TBS, right? But this is the Bronx Bombers, man. Anytime you step into those type of situations against those type of teams, you need to perform. And for him to have fallen flat on opening day, you got to get it back right away, or else he switches to the person where I have the most concerns about. But hey, we got the first win. Let's go.
Yeah, and then we can't be completely negative, right?
Yes,
I mean,
we can.
we're
If we try
okay.
hard.
Come on,
We're
We try
Valley
hard enough,
Sports
we
Boy.
can.
We can
Yeah.
definitely
Very
be
true, very true.
negative.
So, I mean, one thing that has surprised me is how this offense has popped a tiny bit, just a little bit. It's a small sample size, but looking at what Gino's done so far, I mean, one of our things coming in was if he and Corbin Carroll can pick up right where they left off, this team's gonna be hard to beat. Gino has absolutely done that, picked up exactly where he left off last season. We saw Corbin with the power that he showed during spring. He did it again today. But I mean, another one that's like, damn, I'm super, super happy for Alec Thomas, dude. What that kid has done. I mean, I think going into today, he was like 6 for 8 or something. I mean, he's had it. He's had it offensively, man. And poor Jake McCarthy has just been ice cold at the plate. So I know we were like, oh, we were definitely taking Jake McCarthy, right, over Alec Thomas, but it's just been a complete opposite. But either way, super excited for Alec Thomas and how he started the season offensively. And then even Josh Naylor, dude, that dude's been on base like almost every at bat. Granted, we talked about what we're upset about with him defensively and what he did today, but I mean, he's been a solid addition to this offense in this lineup. So I don't know, man. I think I saw something. I think it was yesterday. We were like third or fourth most runs scored so far this season. So I don't know. This offense, we're doing what we usually do, and even though we lost 2 big bats, so that's a positive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that the Diamondbacks have they're very top heavy with talent right now, and I think there's going to be some tough decisions to make over the next couple years. But before we move on, I just saw this headline and wanted to kind of get your guys' opinion on it, because as we talk about this team growing in success, they're an exciting young team. They're going to be out there more in the national eye of the media. And this article from The Atlantic says that the Padres and the Diamondbacks are expected to play a regular season series in Mexico in 2026. So, of course, we saw the season start with the the Korea series, Japanese series, where the Dodgers played the Cubs in Japan. We've seen Mexico City games, I think, pretty much every season. I think last year it was the Padres and maybe the Cubs even. It was another team like that. But an exciting time for the MLB to broaden their reach as the game is becoming more global. You got the World Baseball Classic also coming in 2026. Are you guys excited that the Diamondbacks are being considered to play one of these international series?
I would say so. Yeah, anytime you can put your team on a global platform, I think it's an absolute positive. And it makes sense, honestly, guys, that it is the Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Diego Padres, because if you think about Arizona and Southern California, there's a large Mexican population. But that's kind of the same way that they did it with the Dodgers and the Shohei Ohtani, Roki Sasaki. It makes sense. But I think the Diamondbacks have put themselves into this position to be considered with what they've done over the past couple of seasons. And especially, we've already talked about it with the power rankings and the expectations of this team this year. And it sounds like if you're looking into 2026, the expectation, if you're being put on a global platform, is that you're going to be good for a decent amount of time at least. So hell yeah, man. Sign me up. I don't know if I'll go to a game, but hell yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, a trip to Mexico City would be fun. Don't know if that's in the cards for 2026. I wonder though, because the NFL has played games in Mexico City as well. It's very popular for different. I think the NBA might have even done some games down there, maybe preseason stuff. Regardless, the elevation is always a point of contention, because people don't realize that Mexico City has a higher elevation than Denver, Colorado, and Denver's known for being a hitter's park where guys, and in a kicker's field in football, if you will, because of the high elevation, the thinner air, the ball can travel a little easier. Well, this could be some exciting baseball. The Padres are, like I said, mentioned, coming out the gate hot this season. They also have some exciting young players and prospects. So this could be a high, home run potential game. But Tallman, I do want to give you a chance before we move on from baseball, if you want to speak on the Padres Diamondbacks in Mexico City.
Yeah, Gino Suarez wants to play there. That's for sure. But no, it's cool. I mean, I didn't know this was scheduled. And then just a quick look at it. I guess Padres and Diamondbacks were supposed to play in Mexico City in 2020, but it was canceled because of COVID-19. So no, this is awesome. I mean, Mike already said it. Latin America, there's a lot of DBacks fans, a lot of Padres fans. They love baseball down there, and just as much as we do. So it's always a win. I'm not a huge fan of. I hope it doesn't start the season like we don't play like they did in Japan, because technically that wasn't opening day with the Dodgers and the Cubs, but it was the first real baseball game of the season, and this is America's pastime. This is baseball is the United States of America. We shouldn't be playing the first opening day game of any team not on U.S. soil. So I'm hoping if this is something they sneak in where maybe it's the first series after the All-Star break or before the All-Star break or something like that. But I would not want them to play their first game of the season not here. Whether, granted, it's not always here in Arizona, but I'm saying not in the United States. I guess I should be a little less patriotic and a little more not as selfish with our baseball, but it's just, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but opening day should be in the US.
No, I totally agree. I didn't like I like the international series generally, but I don't like it to open the season. And I think they did it last year as well with the Seoul series. That's where I got a little confused. The Padres went and played in Korea this year. The Dodgers and the Cubs went to play in Japan. But yeah, no, Tallman, you bring up a really good point. The Mexico City series, I think, is the last year they did it. It was the Astros and the Colorado Rockies, and that was April 27th and 28th. It was a 2-game series, the end of April. So that's still the beginning of the season, but a little further in. I agree. I think I like it around that time or later, closer to the All-Star break. I guess it depends on the weather, but baseball's played in the summer, so you really take what you can get. And at that high elevation, I imagine the weather is probably not. I don't know a lot about the weather of Mexico City. I just actually looked it up, and it seems like their weather is pretty comparable to the Phoenix area right now. It's mid 70s, low 80s right now, so not bad weather to be playing baseball in all. And if that carries true through April, that wouldn't be too bad weather-wise either. But either way, I think it's great for the brand, both the Diamondbacks brand and the MLB brand, to continue to grow the sport and the league internationally, and the appeal, of course, tripling down on that. You've both highlighted that point, that there are a lot of Diamondbacks, Padres, Dodgers fans that live south of the border and travel up here to see the team play and follow the team from their home country as well. So I think it's really awesome. I look forward to that. I'm glad we're being reconsidered after it was canceled in the 2020 season. I'm surprised that it's taken this long, but understand that they probably have these things planned out really far in advance. And so it's cool for this to roll around again, especially in a year where I believe, I might correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe the World Baseball Classic is happening again in 2026. And they're starting to play those qualifying games now for that. But moving on, I think it's time. I know we hate to do it, especially, Tallman, he is a big basketball guy. We know he's a big basketball guy.
Nope. Good night, everybody.
Well, now that the MLB season's underway, the NFL draft is right around the corner. His the stock on his basketball participation is going to be waning. And honestly, I'm probably right there with him, because the Suns are heading to Cancun here pretty soon. They're not going to have much to play for. Like, even if they squeak in as the 10th seed, which the odds of that are ever dwindling. It's just, I don't even know where to start, Mike. I really don't. I think we need to start with the injury that occurred last night to Kevin Durant. Rolled his ankle, and they say he's only going to be out for a week. It looked pretty bad, Mike. We've both rolled our ankles playing basketball more than we can count on two hands, probably. You might have it here. I don't know if Shams is going to have it in this video here, but it was a pretty gnarly looking roll, wasn't it?
Oof. Yeah. I mean, anytime you see that kind of play, like you said, Chris, I've been there. I know how painful that is. And depending on the severity, it can linger, man. And it takes a few weeks to come back to actual normality. So even if Kevin Durant were to just miss this 3-game road trip, he's not going to be the same kind of player coming back. He's going to be a little bit more tentative. It's going to take some time for him to be as comfortable as he can, planting off that left foot. But overall, gentlemen, and I'm speaking to Tallman here. Don't worry, Tallman. We only got a few more games left, and then this is it, because the Phoenix Suns are dead. They're dead in the water. I mean, this horrific train wreck of a season is coming to a close, and it can't happen soon enough, especially after the absolute drubbings the Phoenix Suns took to the Boston Celtics and to the Houston Rockets. Unfortunately, the tickets that we gave away might have been the worst game of this season. I feel so bad for Tammy, but appreciate you joining anyways. There's, at this point for this Phoenix Suns team, it's time to play all the young guys. Colin Gillespie had a decent game tonight, 18 points. You continue to give Ryan Dunn minutes, work through his, systems. 23 minutes tonight is good. Not much offensive production. Only shot 7 times, but was 1 for 5 from 3. And then Oso Ighodaro, right? That's what you're looking for, I think, if you're a Suns fan at this point, and you're still watching, right? How are these young guys competing to the end of this season? And then to go back to the Kevin Durant part, I don't think Kevin Durant's not a dumb guy. I think he sees the writing on the wall that this is it for him. And the inability to trade Bradley Beal makes it very, very hard for the Phoenix Suns to keep both of himself and Devin Booker and try to do a semi-rebuild around them. He's the only leverage piece the Phoenix Suns have to start, restarting some kind of sense of competitive basketball around Devin Booker, because we know that's the guy that the Phoenix Suns are going to focus in on. He's the Valley Kid. He has created his name here. They're not going to trade Devin Booker. They're going to try everything in their might to trade Bradley Beal, but it's going to be very hard. But yeah, I mean, just with the way that 4-game winning streak went and people starting to jump back on the bandwagon, thinking that this team was really going to have a chance to go into the play-in and make some kind of noise and make, and be one of those 8 playoff teams, you were kidding yourself, because you had to look at what was ahead. And you still have to look at what's ahead, even though you're 1.5 games out of Sacramento for the 10th spot and 2 games from Dallas. Dallas has Anthony Davis back. Sacramento has some absolute cupcakes coming up, I think, with Charlotte and Washington. And the Suns got to play New York Knicks and Mr. 50-point Stephen Curry with the Golden State Warriors and the Celtics again. And it's a nowhere road. And I think people shouldn't have been drinking the Kool-Aid after this team has struggled all year long. Why do you think it was just going to come together at the end? Because Bradley Beal wasn't there? Come on, folks. It's been a tough ride, but Tallman, it's almost over. Don't worry about it, man.
Dude, thank goodness. I mean, the last gasp was very impressive, right? I mean, you rip off that 4-game win streak and you're like, what the hell? Where was this at before? I mean, they won some games against some very good competitive basketball teams. But then Kevin Durant getting hurt that was the last nail in the coffin. I mean, you can't beat some of these teams you're running into the remaining schedule. You can't beat these teams without Kevin Durant playing where he was playing at. So all hope is gone. The wind is completely out of the sails. And the part, how this season, how we end it, where those 2 back-to-back home losses, do you guys see the stat they're throwing out? It was like the first time since the 70s that the Suns lost 2 games in a row at home by more than 30 points. It's like, we're talking about the most expensive payroll in the entire league. And you tie a franchise record like that for the worst back-to-back game losses at home. It's unbelievable. I mean, that was the icing on the cake for this season. And there's nothing good to remember about this season, but thankfully, how many games do we have left?
6.
6
games.
God. Okay. Yeah. And then, I mean, it was very nice of the Kings and the Mavericks Will the Mavericks to lose to the Nets, who are playing all the young guys, right? Like they're not. You go read their starting lineup, and you're like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Drew Timmy, baby, come on, you know Drew Timmy.
Let's go, Gonzaga.
No, Tim.
Gonzaga.
I don't know who Drew Tim is. But it was very nice of those two teams to lose last night to make tonight somewhat interesting, with the Suns only being half a game out of the Kings. But yeah, no, we just need to accept defeat at this point. It didn't work at all, and all we can do is sit back and hope that Bradley Beal hates it here in Phoenix, and he goes, hey, you know what? Yeah, trade me, guys. I want to go here. And then we just have to pray to God that somebody will take him on. But, I mean, I'm going back to what I said weeks ago. I mean, it's Kevin Durant. He knows he's getting traded. And what sucks is him getting hurt. That might have been the last game he plays in the Suns jersey.
Yeah, and I think there's a conversation to be had there on if it should be his last game. I personally, whether they decide it's best for them to keep him or trade him, there's really no benefit to bringing him back if he's good to go. Even if we have a chance to sneak into the 10th seed. I was going to say if we have a chance, but even if we do have a chance to sneak into the 10th seed, this is not a championship contending team right now. So you bring him back, maybe rush him back, maybe he's not 100%. Maybe you sneak into that 10th seed. Fuck, even if I'm being generous, maybe you win the play-in tournament and you make the playoffs. You're not making a run even to the Western Conference Finals the way this team is set up. And it is the end of the season. Like, let's be honest. Like Mike talked about the remaining schedule. It's at Boston on Friday, then at New York Knicks on Sunday. Then you got Golden State, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Sacramento. I'm really only confident that they'll for sure win one of those games, and that's either going to be against San Antonio or Sacramento. I honestly don't think they can beat Boston. I don't think they can beat New York. Golden State's playing really well. They're looking for a playoff run of their own. Oklahoma City is the best team in the West. The only chance they have against Oklahoma City is if they bench all of their starters. And even then, I'm not 100% certain that that's going to be the case. And it's really interesting when you look at how the game went this evening, the first full game without Kevin Durant. What happens? You see Devin Booker step back into the spotlight. He has 39 points, 11 assists, leading all scorers, leading all assisters for the Phoenix Suns. So that starts to question of the offseason, right? Tallman, you mentioned we need to get rid of Bradley Beal. I think that is the very first point that you start at is you go to Bradley Beal and you say, write down on this sheet of paper all of the teams that you're willing to waive your no trade clause for. And then you take that list, however long it may be, and you call every single one of those teams and ask them what kind of deal can be made for Bradley Beal. Who do you want? Who can you give us in return? If they say, we'll give you a vending machine full of mug root beer for Bradley Beal, as long as they're going to take on all of his contract, you fucking make that deal, dude. Get Bradley Beal the fuck out of here.
Chris, that is way too much. Mug root beer is way too valuable.
It's really good, yeah.
Maybe half a vending machine full.
Or would you be okay if it was Barks? Does that matter? Does the brand matter?
Ooh. No, honest. Ooh, that might be a debate right there.
Or Dad's root beer.
Yeah,
no, not doing it for you. A&W. So
that shit's pretty good.
That's pretty good too, especially if you get some vanilla ice cream in there. So I don't know. Maybe you just see it as like a mop bucket. How about a mop bucket for Bradley Beal? At this point, if anyone's willing to take on his full contract, I think you do it. So that's where you start. I think if you can get rid of Bradley Beal, then you can entertain the idea of bringing back Kevin Durant, because then that frees up $55 million. A lot of people don't realize just how bad the Bradley Beal situation is. He has 1 year guaranteed on his deal to play with us 25-26. He has a player option to play with us 26-27 that's worth damn near $60 million, if not exactly $60 million or more. Bradley Beal is not, as much as he's a shitty person, he's not dumb. He is gonna take that player option and steal $60 million from the Phoenix Suns without blinking an eye. And honestly, He'd be stupid not to. Anybody would do the same thing. He negotiated that contract with the Wizards for 5 years, $220 million or whatever. And the Wizards were smart enough to bamboozle the Phoenix Suns and make that trade for Chris Paul, get off that Bradley Beal contract and get him here. And now we have to suffer the consequences. And honestly, he has destroyed his trade value the way he's played with the Phoenix Suns, or I guess not played with the Phoenix Suns. As much as we can laugh through the pain at the PTO man memes, it's true. Like, Bradley Beal has not played more games than he has played with the Suns, and I don't even have to look that up. I am pretty sure that's a for sure stat right there. And even when he does play for the Suns, he doesn't contribute in any positive way. And during that 4-game stretch without Bradley Beal, where we were winning, where Suns fans were starting to wake up and think we had a reason to be optimistic, he proved us to be wrong. But they start there. They see if they can get rid of Bradley Beal. Then they entertain if they can keep Kevin Durant. If you can't keep Kevin Durant, you ship him off to a Houston Rockets, or I've even heard crazy, speculation of moving him to the New York Knicks. Maybe you get a Mikal Bridges back in that. How hilarious would that be, is if you trade Mikal Bridges for Kevin Durant and then you trade Kevin Durant to bring Mikal Bridges back. But it's funny, as at the same time as I'm reading articles about deals of Kevin Durant to the Knicks, I'm also reading articles about the Knicks having to be offloading guys because they're too close to the salary cap and that second apron, and them having trouble of their own paying guys. So it's all purely speculation at this point. But one thing is for sure, they're going to need a massive overhaul. And Mike, I honestly think they need a massive overhaul in the front office too. I don't know if we've talked about it before. I don't know how much people are really paying attention to this, or if you guys knew this, but Suns president and CEO Josh Bartelstein is the son of Mark Bartelstein, who is the agent of Bradley Beal. Let that sink in. Bradley Beal's agent is the father of the Suns CEO. That shit rubs me the wrong way. I think they need to clear house. Honestly, it's time for James Jones to go. It's time for Josh Bartelstein to go. I don't know anything about him. Honestly, there's a conversation to be had of whether Mike Budenholzer needs to go as well. I don't think we're going to get rid of Matt Ishbia, the true GM and president of player operations, but there needs to be a very strong shakeup from the product on the court to the front office. And I'm just rambling here. So Mike, I think I need to pass you the rock.
No, I mean, I did know about Josh Bartelstein. Guys, it makes sense why they pulled the trigger to bring Bradley Beal here. Yes, we've had these conversations about it was time to part ways with Chris Paul, but trading for a guy with that kind of contract who hadn't played more than 55 games in like 6 seasons, what the hell did you think was going to happen? The same shit. Bradley Beal has played 48 games this year. It sounds like he'll probably be back on Friday, but once again, that puts him at 53 games. It's what you got. It's what you knew. There was a track record with Bradley Beal. I'm done with it. Unfortunately, with high expectations comes sometimes you got to sever heads, man. Like, you're not meeting them, and you're not meeting them at just an absolutely ridiculous level where all the national media pundits are basically ridiculing the Phoenix Suns and talking about how it's some of the worst product that they've seen in years. And honestly, sometimes you can't disagree with them. The unfortunate situation here too is, I think we struck out once again with the head coach and Mike Budenholzer. His voice is not ringing within this locker room whatsoever. They don't play a lick of defense. Yeah, we knew that it was going to be their downfall was defense, but for them to just not have energy on consistent nights, especially when you know what is at stake, is just unacceptable. And it starts with the man who has the voice. And he's already told Devin Booker to stop talking, and shit has got worse. So this is the time where you have to cut bait and you have to restart once again. But will it happen? I don't know. I think at this point, it's okay if James Jones, we say goodbye to him. I'm totally okay with firing Mike Budenholzer once again. It's going to leave a stain on this franchise, but if you don't have the right guy, you don't have the right guy. And what do a lot of people always say? It's like, well, this is this is another guy, another coach who we're paying $50 million. We don't have, like, how are we going to do that? You're going to fire him again and have another payroll. Guys, it's not your money. If the guy sucks, get him out and then pay another person again. Like, that's just it. It is what it is. Now I'm rambling, Chris. Thanks a lot. Look what you got me doing.
It's easy. It's easy to go on a tangent when it comes to this Phoenix Suns team and like points that frustrate us. And I don't just want to be like the old men that yell at clouds out here with the Phoenix Suns, but like, holy shit, like how did we go from being in the finals, being a team that national media and fans and everywhere across the league is like, Suns are going to make a deep push. Like, oh, wow, on paper, they have 3 of the top 25 guys, to where it's like, well, Bradley Beal certainly isn't a top 25 guy. He's probably not even a top 100 guy in this league right now. Kevin Durant is really good. Devin Booker is really good. But how good is it to have 2 great players when you have like the other 13 guys on the roster are mediocre at best, and on any other team are just going to be bench guys or role players? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I like what Nick Richards has done. I in a vacuum. I like what Colin Gillespie has done. I like how the rookie Ryan Dunn is performing, but these guys are not going to be starters on any other team. It's just really a lack of choice. Like the Tyus Jones signing, we knew we had him on a 1-year deal. This was our year to have a point guard along with all of these great other guys, and you got him on such a good value, and it's just been wasted. And Tyus, to your point, the whole team plays no defense, but holy shit, Tyus Jones definitely doesn't play defense. Like, he's basically only out there for offense, and that's not what we need. We don't need Tyus Jones to be taking offensive looks when we have Kevin Durant, we have Devin Booker. And I'm not saying you're going to rely on 2 guys to do all of the scoring, but you're going to rely on 2 guys to do 70% or more of the scoring. Like, Kevin Durant is guaranteed 20 points a game. He's a 30-point player. Like, you should have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker scoring 25 points each every single night. And yeah, some of the scoring has to come elsewhere, but Mason Plumlee has been another massive disappointment. Royce O'Neal, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. You're going to get 15 to 20, or you're going to get 5. It's just, this team is so inconsistent. And I think it does start at the top and work its way down. And, it sucks. I think that it kind of had to go this way, but I hope Ishbia has learned from maybe being a little too involved in the day-to-day. Kind of in my mind, in my eye, neutering James Jones a little bit. And, it sucks that maybe James Jones is going to have to fall on that sword a little bit, but it does kind of suck as well that, we're talking about moving on from Budenholzer, where this is going to be, since Matt Ishbia bought the team in 2024, this is going to be he'd be going on his 4th coach. He started with Monty Williams, fired him right away. You brought in Frank Vogel, the defensive mind, fired him at the end of the season. You brought in Mike Budenholzer, complete 180. He's an offensive-minded coach, and then you don't have any defense, and you don't even make the playoffs. So now who is this 4th coach that you're going to bring in for next season? Unfortunately, my understanding is there's not a lot of great candidates out there, and it's going to be some really hard conversations that have to be had this offseason all over, from the front office to the coaching staff to the players on the court. I expect, and I would hope, that this team looks a lot different next season. But my fear is that Bradley Beal is still going to be on this roster, guys, and he's not going anywhere. Tallman, do you have any thoughts on? I know Mike has one more thing he wants to get to, but I want to give you the chance to share any thoughts you have on the Suns.
I mean, I don't think I have a incredible rant like both you guys just completed right there. I mean, I'll just compliment it. I mean, you guys right there, I just saw the true frustration of Suns fans this season. And it's, who are you going to blame? Right. But I'm with you guys. It's time to blame everybody. You can't just sit there and blame your coach every single season because it didn't work out. Yeah, did he have a very tough coach, Bud? He had a very tough time trying to figure out a lineup that worked. But unfortunately, this roster just doesn't work. And the big 3 is dead. I mean, you said, how do you go from the finals to where we're at right now, the most expensive roster in the league, and you've missed the playoffs? Well, when we went to the finals, we had a homegrown team. We drafted those players. We built a team around Devin Booker. You added a veteran like Chris Paul. And then where we're at now is these big 3s just don't work anymore. So it's It's the heavy involvement of Matt Ishbia. I mean, I was very excited when he came in, but when is too much involvement just too much to where it becomes your downfall? And yeah, he's incredible at talent acquisition. He'll pay out the ass for anybody, but we're not good at talent management right now. This just hasn't been working out. So I'm just waiting for someone to come out and take the blame, and someone to come out and admit that this team sucks. Because I mean, it's I don't know. It's like we need some type of answer, because it's to go from the start of the season to where we are now. We didn't just fall off the cliff. We fell off the cliff, hit ground bottom, and then we went down another 5 miles, because this has just been an utter disaster of a season. And again, the most expensive roster in the history of the NBA. It's unacceptable. It really is.
Yeah. Fell down the mountain, hit every rock on the way down, and then penetrated the Earth's crust for an additional 5 miles, reached the core, burned up. And that's where we're at right now, man. It's crazy. This Suns team is bad. This is the worst Suns team we've had in a long, long time. And it sucks because, like, Tallman, you bring up a great point. It can't be emphasized enough. The highest payroll in league history. You spend so much fucking money basically on 3 players, and then one of them is no better than a role player. One of them is well past their prime, but somehow the best scorer on your team. And then the other is a shell of himself. Like Devin Booker went from being the guy scoring 25, 30 a night to now he's lucky to get 15 points when Kevin Durant's on the court. So I think those are going to be some interesting conversations we have in the offseason, especially if and when they move on from Kevin Durant. Will we see a better Devin Booker? Will we see the return to form where he is the main scorer? And is that a net positive for this team? But those are conversations for another day, and conversations I look forward to having. They're going to be hard conversations that they have to have internally, and it's going to be hard for us to speculate as we kind of grapple with our head and our heart as to what we want to see and what we know we need to see. But only time will tell. Mike, I know you have one more, I think you said random topic left, and so I'm eager to see what you have in store for us.
Well, gentlemen, it is Valley Ties with this topic, okay? But I got to know, did you see this post today on X by ASU football that was announcing that they're going to have a Maroon field next year at Mountain America Stadium? Obviously, this was an April Fool's joke. But gentlemen, I don't know. I think this would be something that would be fucking awesome. What do you guys think about that?
Yo, that looks really cool, honestly. Like, not even, as the kids would say, no cap. That is fucking awesome, man. Like,
no cap on God.
No cap on God. Like, I was just up in Boise, Idaho this last year in the fall, and I was trying really hard to see that blue field they have there in Boise with the Broncos. And, you know, people can call it a gimmick if they want, but man, it looks so cool. And the maroon works so well here in Arizona with the mountain in the background right there at Mountain America Stadium. Ooh, Mike, I love it. I love the idea. I wish it wasn't just an April Fool's joke. I hope I would love to see them put some serious consideration into that. I guess the question is, if Tallman knows as he opines on it, is it artificial turf already, or do they use natural grass there at Mountain America?
Oh, that's a great question. It's got to be artificial turf. Because I mean, just Mike, you know, trying to manage some turf outside in the summer, the heat. I mean, it's especially with the college season starting so early, that it's got to be artificial, but I actually don't know. I'm just guessing based off of the very limited grass knowledge I have.
The Google machine says that it's real grass.
It's real, really. That's impressive. Man, the fucking internet, you can't look at anything on April 1st, huh? On the internet. This would just be wild. I wouldn't be a fan of it. I mean, it's just it would be hard viewing wise. It just reminds me of some of those awful basketball courts that they had in some of the college tournaments. It'd be hard to watch a game on TV.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Even if they just used it as kind of like a specialty in-season tournament, like it's the Maroon field when they play U of A, you wouldn't be just down for at least one time? One time, Tallman?
I mean, okay, all right. They say you always got to try something at least once, right? So I would give it a shot. I would give it a shot.
Yeah, I think obviously the only way they could do that is if they switched from their natural grass currently to the AstroTurf or whatever they're calling it these days, and to get that maroon grass, because you're not going to roll the paint machine over the entire field and paint it maroon. That would just be absolutely ridiculous. But that would also be kind of cool, like if a team had enough in the budget, like I guess at like if State Farm Stadium were to have artificial turf, that would be something that they could kind of change the field, like kind of like they do with basketball, how like when the Suns have their alternate uniforms, they change the court as well, and like how they had the in-season tournament courts. If we kind of saw that with football as well. But I also know that like the preference of the players, I think, is to play on natural grass because it cuts down on injury. It's a little softer, a little easier on the knees. So I do like that it's a natural grass field, the Bermuda grass, as my Google search turned up. But the concept is great. I absolutely love it in theory, but obviously in practice, it seems like it'd be more of a detriment than not. But man, it was a good episode, guys. I mean, it's there's a lot to be excited about with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do in the draft. And honestly, I'm really excited for the start of their season, even though that's 5 months away at this point. God, we're going to have a lot to talk about here in the summer, and the Diamondbacks season just getting underway. I'm going to keep getting on Twitter at AZ_VSP on Twitter. We are now officially a verified account. So we're legit, guys. We're legit, and we're going to keep bringing you the best of the Valley Sports content here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find podcasts. But before we get out of here, I got to hand it to these guys one more time, see if they have any last thoughts on the state of Valley Sports in Arizona. So, Mr. Benjamin, why don't we start with you? What you got for us?
Gentlemen, always a pleasure, never a chore. Chris, one day I'll find my own tagline because I know I've kind of stolen it from you over the past couple of times. But with that being said, man, I should have waited to cash in on the Michael Wilson, Zay Jones jersey bet because I would have got me a Calais Campbell one. Welcome home, Grandpa Campbell. So excited to have him back. And Gino Suarez, just keep hitting those dingers, man. You're making my fantasy baseball team look damn good right now. Appreciate you guys.
Love it, Mike. And I got to give credit where credit's due. The line, always a pleasure, never a chore. I stole that from Valley Sports Plug contributor Stephen Miller. He'll be on next week, and we'll be doing our trivia stream. But VSP Tallman, last stream of the month. You're not going to be here for a little while. We're going to miss you. But Big Dog, what you got for the people?
Yeah, guys, don't miss me too much. I know. I'll give you incorrect guesses on the turf used at Mountain America Stadium. Guys, it's gonna be weird. I've just been so used to every Tuesday hopping on here with you guys, but I know you guys have some fun. Mike, good luck next week on trivia. Seems like you're probably gonna need it. And then, I'll see what I can do to jump in with some of this draft stuff. A little sad I'm gonna be missing it, but hey, it's still fun time to be a sports fan, whether you're in the country or not. So I'll miss you guys.
We'll miss you too, Tom. Maybe you can give us some video diaries from Europe. We'll play him on the stream.
Dude, no, he's going to have to give us a draft grade. I'm telling you, a draft grade from the red light district, because that's where he'll be.
No. I will be in Paris.
Okay, from the top of the Eiffel Tower. Yes. Hell yeah, even better.
I'll be in Amsterdam when you guys do the stream.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, we can add that on the short form content, because if you're following us at AZ_VSP on TikTok and here on YouTube, that is where we post the majority of our short form content, as well as this long form content. I mentioned all the streams we do every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We also do a once a month in in-person podcast recording. That is the Heat Check podcast, the brain, or I guess the original inspiration as to why we do this, the Heat Check Live, where we're all in our homes in various spaces here in Arizona. Once a month, we come together in person. We'll be doing that, I think, next weekend before Tallman leaves. So not his last appearance of the month. You'll still hear from him more. It'll just be in a pre-recorded fashion. We tend to talk at a high level, but I look forward to see what the Diamondbacks do. Hope they can win this series against New York in New York, off to a strong start, 1-0. Going to be plenty to talk about as we move forward, and look forward to that trivia stream next week and see if the Cousins Bellick can get back in the winner's position. God, it's tough. I don't want to complain too much being game master or question master or whatever the official title we're going to roll with, but I really thought that I had cooked or come up with some good history questions for the history category. But I forgot, not only is Ben a huge history buff and been interested in studying history his entire life, he also has a degree in history and taught 7th grade history. So he's got quite the edge. So Mike, I guess I'm kind of torn here. Do I come up with questions that are so hard that Ben's not going to be able to answer them? Because then I feel like those questions will be so hard that you and Nico also won't be able to answer them. So I don't know.
I will say we're not going to get any of them right anyways. So you're the game master. You have to figure it out for yourself, my friend.
That's fair enough. I'm okay. Maybe I'll kick it up a notch, Emeril Lagasse style or whoever that is. But fellas, before I start rambling too much here, I think it's best that we just call it a night. I want to thank everyone who's tuned into our live stream. Anybody who might have made it this far in the playback, thank you so much. Make sure you are liked and subscribed. This will be my last plea, but we look forward to the next time. We'll be back next week with that Valley Sports Plug trivia stream and look forward to you joining us. For Mr. Benjamin and VSP Tallman, I'm Chris Patrick, and we'll see you next time. Peace.